Okay, this should be good.
Presidential promise to put the law before a family.
I said I abide by the jury decision. I will do that, and I will not pardon him.
Letting the world know that he will not wipe away the decision of 12 of his son's peers.
Imagine a dark Candace Owens.
Was asked directly, and he has said he wouldn't pardon his son if he gets convicted.
Let's wait and see what happens if he loses.
Yeah, but he said it.
Chris Wallace has a moment of clarity there. Wow, that was surprising. And then what? Kara Swisher's like, no, he won't do that.
Yeah, but he said it.
He's going to get pardoned by his dad. There's no question about that.
The president has ruled out pardoning his son.
Major commitment from the president, accepting the outcome of the trial and also pledging.
This is my favorite, Payless Crystal Ball.
Not to pardon his son.
So the challenge for him is really to continue to live up to his values when it was really personal, and he did that today.
It seems like a pretty normal, straightforward answer, but it takes new weight when we see what Trump is saying about the outcome of his trial, what we're hearing from other Republicans who say they don't accept the jury's verdict here in New York.
The contrast is profound. To sit there and say, well, I'm not going to intervene in the legal process, and I wouldn't pardon my son. One side, Democrats and Joe Biden protecting the justice system. And on the other, Republicans and Trump protecting Trump.
Our current president of the United States has so much respect for the law that he has said he would not pardon his son. I mean,
so much respect. So I guess he doesn't have any respect for the law, right, Mika? Let's see if Mika has tweeted or X'd anything. Shocking.
what, again, it's all about the contrast.
President Biden saying, I will respect whatever this jury decides versus Donald Trump after he was convicted.
That's right.
On 34 counts, saying the entire system is rigged against him.
Their latest attack has been that Joe Biden has politicized and weaponized the DOJ, right? That was the whole argument around Donald Trump's conviction. And this week, of course, Hunter Biden was found guilty, and Joe Biden has very clearly said he would not pardon his son, he would not commute his sentence. How stark is this difference? I mean, how can Republicans keep making this argument?
Pay attention to that word stark here, because once somebody uses a new term, other people grab onto it and start using it. So you'll see the word stark used here quite often. It's going to be a red wedding.
Now that Joe Biden has really put it out there. Where's Hunter? And he stood there in a courtroom, flanked by his family, and he's accepted his sentence.
As we do around here, we like to appreciate the stage and set crew here. Pretty cool how they did a glass table and they had this built-in lights down below that shine up in the faces of the hosts. Very much appreciated.
He is not pardoning his son, which he could do. These are federal charges. Right. He is not doing that. He is not doing it because he is living what it means to have a rule of law in this country. Yeah. And it is, if you want to know if he believes it, you could actually see what is happening with his own son.
My gosh, I guess he doesn't believe in the rule of law.
The president, Anderson, has been really
Did I just summon Anderson with that list?
clear that he is going to accept the outcome of the trial no matter what happens.
So Joe Biden's gotten asked about, talking about law and order. He's gotten asked if he would pardon his son. He has said no. On the other side, you've got Donald Trump, who has said that he will pardon the January 6th insurrectionists. Yeah. They're not even his sons. They're just sons of bitches.
Washington said, I am not running again because he understood the self-restraint was absolutely essential to this country so you don't have a king. He did not pardon.
In the MSNBC meltdown video I uploaded about a week ago, this lady is completely hammered in that video. Well, I didn't even notice it till after I was editing it, but she is completely out of it.
His son. He did not order the Department of Justice to say, don't prosecute my son. So impressive.
Could have ordered the Justice Department to halt the prosecution of Hunter Biden, according to this court. Everyone understands he's a decent man.
I think Joe Biden has a...
So I guess he's not a decent man after all. And what is this? This is like the stone trolls from Frozen face right here.
chance here to stand up for the rule of law, to say the law is the law, no matter who it is, no matter if it's Trump or Biden. And remember, part of Trumpism's dangerousness is that it tears down institutions, important institutions of our democracy. So there is an opportunity here for Biden to say, you know, the jury found him guilty. This is how it's
Hunter's like holding back this child. Stay away from my child.
supposed to work. Period, paragraph, end of story.
Have you ruled out a pardon for your son?
Yes.
As I said last week, I will accept the outcome of this case and will continue to respect the judicial process as Hunter considers an appeal. You know, the president said he won't touch it. He said he's not going to pardon his son. And it seems that Merrick Garland.
Somebody tell this guy it's okay to have a chin. I must frame perfectly. Relax, buddy.
And let it go through. How can the Justice Department be weaponized against Trump when all of that is happening?
The Democrats stand for the rule of law. Remember, law and order.
Remember, law and order. Democrats stand for the rule of law. I guess not.
You know, and we've been saying that Trump's not above the law, Hunter Biden's not above the law, no one is above the law. And it is amazing to see the
except those people he just listed.
Stark contrast between how Democrats handled today.
Did you catch that? Stark contrast.
And how Republicans handled this whole thing over the last couple of weeks.
I'd really appreciate it if you hit that subscribe button and the notification bell. I try and put out a video every day if I can, or at least 5 days a week. And I think you'll really enjoy some of the videos. If you enjoy this video, you will certainly enjoy the others.
For years, these conservatives have been crowing about a politicized Justice Department.
I don't ever want a face like this to use the word crowing again. And speaking of which, you're about to eat some crow hardcore.
Biden politicizing it and so on. What happened today? The Justice Department convicted the president's own son, his only living son. You heard the president say he would accept the outcome of the case. I know no other word for that, but presidential.
He even went so.
I guess he's not presidential after all.
He even went so far as to say he wouldn't pardon his son. That's how much respect he has for the system.
The president has said.
It's so beautiful. Everything here is so beautiful because, hey, I guess he doesn't have respect for the system, right? Are you going to say that Joe Biden doesn't have respect for the system? You're not going to say that, are you? Because you're a coward and you're weak.
That he will not pardon his son. What did you think of that?
I thought it was extraordinary. I mean, it was a moment of just moral clarity on the part of Joe Biden, and couldn't have been in, starker contrast to the way Donald Trump has handled his own conviction.
Everyone in their 20s who's watching this, as somebody who's nearly 40, as you get older, you start to realize that there really are no adults in the room. Give zero respect to people just because of how old they are. Just because you've been dumber for longer doesn't mean that people should respect you.
Still pardon him. He said he won't do that. All of that conduct, given that it's his son, it's kind of, we should pause for a moment and think about how unbelievable that is. In a million years, if the shoe were on the other foot and Donald Trump was facing the prospect of his son being prosecuted by a Biden, me, if I had been held over, a Biden holdover or Obama holdover prosecutor, not in a million years would that have happened. So, some of the people on the right, the people who support Donald Trump, are trying to cast this as some clever ops program.
Yeah. Hunter Biden was found guilty by a jury of his peers, just like Donald Trump, because this is our justice system at work. The divide here is stunning, and it's a great reminder that one political party remains committed to the rule of law. And
technically true. Just not the party he thinks.
And the other doesn't.
Joe Biden has already proven he's willing to stand up for the rule of law in a way that we could all never imagine Donald Trump to do.
Pretty emphatic over the last few days.
All of these people need to watch themselves. They need to see this video clip so they can understand just how horrible they are. Just the biggest propagandist piece of shit.
That he does not plan to pardon or commute his son. What that really is him saying is, I don't plan to use the powers of the office, the powers of the presidency, to provide private relief for my family. In a sense, he's staking out a pretty bright line between being, as he says, a president and a dad. And that's not just an emotional expression. He's in effect saying, I don't think that I don't have a right, even if it's legal, and God knows it must be.
What the hell is this decor? Are these like green olives, huge green olives on the wall?
tempting to use this power in a way that is not available to so many other Americans facing similar kinds of struggles. There's a kind of old school sort of flinty core to his conception of how you are to be in the system, how you are to be as a person, a moral person, and ultimately how to...
Okay, so he's not moral. The system is bullshit. Everybody sees it, and it's why nobody respects it.
To contend with questions of power. One of the things that anybody who spends time around Joe Biden comes to know is that he's had this long-running focus on how much he is bothered by abuses of power.
Will accept the verdict no matter what it is, and that he has ruled out pardoning his own son. Contrast that from what we hear from Donald Trump. And again, we have to underline, in no uncertain terms, President Biden saying, I will accept the outcome. I will accept what the jury decides here. That's the way our legal system works. And
in no uncertain terms. All 5 of you on the screen need to come out and call him out on it, but you won't because you're cowards. You will earn nobody's respect and you'll continue to fail.
No, I will not pardon my own son if he is convicted.
And the contrast is so clear in terms of decency and principle and transactional guidance in terms of how you view the world.
It is still a good day for the United States that this conviction is a prime example of the way...
I guess it was a bad day because he didn't accept the conviction. Also, look at how they drew Hunter Biden here. All stoic and noble compared to how they draw Trump. It's so blatantly obvious the propaganda that is going on in the mainstream media.
The way our judicial system is supposed to work. Even President Biden saying in a statement that he would respect the outcome of this case. Those words so completely contrast with what his opponent, now a convicted felon himself, continues to...
And they had to change the scope of what a felony was in order to get that felony charge.
...to say about the U.S. courts.
The contrast to how Trump has behaved, how Trump has treated the rule of law. This was a good day for the system. Good day for... sort of America as an example of how the rule of law should work.
President Biden told David Muir that he would absolutely accept the verdict, whatever it was, and that he would not pardon his son, regardless. And today he said the same thing in a statement. Meanwhile, you know, Donald Trump comes out and calls the justice system completely unfair. What do you think of that contrast?
There's the contrast of two different...
Contrast and stark. Those are the 2 words.
Men.
Here is Joe Biden, who has lost a son who served honorably in the armed forces, who now has basically said, I will sacrifice my surviving son's future. I will allow him to serve a prison term if that's what's determined, because that...
Am I crazy, or is not being corrupt suddenly seen as a kind of virtue here? She's saying, I will allow my son to get convicted and go to prison. Ooh, wow. Yeah, like... every single person in America whose son gets convicted. They can't just not allow it. God forbid that the president get treated like a normal U.S. citizen.
That is what the rule of law demands.
The president announces that he will not pardon his son. Do you think ordinary Americans give enough thought to how this system is a miracle, a gift to this country, a gift to...
I guess not. And if you haven't checked out the store down below, we've got a bunch of Christmas Trump merch. In fact, I'm wearing one of the shirts right here. I'm sure the green screen will mess up the wreath. But yeah, it's actually really good, high quality. It just came in today. It took about a week, I think about 6-7 days for it to come in. So we still got plenty of time to get those ordered before Christmas. The one I have here is the smoke gray color, but there's also the green, red, and black. This one so far is my favorite, though. I think the colors really pop on it. There's also 5 different mug choices here. If you got a Trump fan in your family, these would make great gifts. If you don't know their shirt size, this is the option I would go with. Thanks for watching, everyone. Have a good one, and we'll see you tomorrow.